Okay, I'm up. Let's see. What faculty or staff member left a lasting impression on you and why?
So Betsy Youngman was my middle school science teacher. Did you guys have Betsy Youngman?
I don't.
Did you?
Okay.
It was
For outdoor ed.
Oh, that's right.
Not as a teacher.
Yeah, she did outdoor ed. She did middle school, 6th and 8th grade science. And I was kind of a sciencey kid, so there was that. But she was training for the Olympics in cross-country skiing when I was here, and she went to the Olympics. And that made such an impression on me that, like, you could have this cool, like, wildly strong outdoorsy woman. She used to cross-country roller ski, like, up and down Gates Mills Boulevard, like, and then she did with the outdoor ed stuff, she took us on a, like, overnight cycling trip. So I think, like, that was so much of what I was interested in, and it was so cool to have this female role model who just, like, was doing it all. And I would just go hang out in her classroom and, like, you know, do stuff with Mrs. Youngman. Yeah, she was my woman.
I would say I had a lot because I was a lifer. So when I think through, Mrs. Queen was the primary science teacher. I loved her, and I volunteered to be like a class helper with Katie Doggett, class of 1996. Shout out Katie Burgess. And we adopted a mouse called Oreo that was for the class. I loved Mrs. Queen. I also think of, was it Senora Kennewick?
Oh, Senora Kennewick.
And who was the English teacher in high school?
Sayed.
Miss Syed.
Oh my gosh, she was
And Miss Syed would have legendary.
Yes.
And she would bring in her silver tea service, and we would sit at that big table and have tea with her and intellectual conversations, and it was just incredible. And it was amazing that she took the time to do that with all of us. And we had a quote, what, Beowulf?
I was literally trying to think of that
It was
book.
Beowulf, I think.
Oh, Beowulf.
I
That
can
was
still
tough.
remember the poem I had to memorize for her class.
Yes.
What?
Like, we each had to pick a poem.
Do you remember the poem?
I remember the poem.
Okay, hit it.
Okay. It was Emily Dickinson. A bird came down the walk. He did not know I saw. He bit an angleworm in halves and ate the fellow raw. And then he drank a dew from a convenient grass, and then hopped sideways to the wall to let a beetle pass. He looked with rapid eyes that hurried all abroad. They looked like frightened deeds, I thought. Cautious, I offered him a crumb, and he unrolled his wings and rode him softer home than oars divide the ocean, too silver for a sea. And butterflies off banks of noon leap splashless as they swim.
Wow.
Thank you, Mrs. Saya.
I am super impressed.
That's incredible.
Girl, I don't remember what I had on yesterday.
I remember that we had to memorize a poem as far as what it was. What is a poem?
I'd also say long, like all the the coaching staff.
Payette.
Oh yeah.
Big time.
Sports was never meant. I tried all the sports, but as we know, I didn't connect with one. But I do remember all of them were great. My person is definitely Miss Libra. I talk about Miss Libra all the time. But I used to dance, and so I lived in a dance studio. And then I had a chance to go to Ghana with Miss Libra to prepare for my Astronauts. So we went for a few weeks actually, and I got like super sick when I went, and she just cared for me and just nursed me back to health. And so Miss Lieber would be one for sure. Mr. Henry.
Oh yeah.
Euro and
Hoffman.
oh, that's sorry, that's
Mr. Hoffman.
Sorry.
Mr. Henry was always like so dapper and the posture. And so he was an English teacher then. Who else do I remember that left an impression? All of my teachers, really. Like, I remember Mr. Decker, which, do you remember? Like, he was in here for long, but he was here. And he had an iguana in the science room, remember that? And he took us to Costa Rica, which was amazing, too. So.
I think it's so neat that so many of us are still connected with Senora Kennewick. I'm like Facebook friends with her, and she still talks to so many of us throughout all of these different years, and like has gotten to know through online that like we've got kiddos and sort of what's going on with them, which has just been, I found that to be so special. She was amazing. But my number one, like most influential and memorable teacher actually was Miss Laverde.
Oh yes, Miss Laverde.
With calculus. which I would not have thought would have been something that I would have excelled in. And I remember very clearly the day that we came in, and part of the way that she did her math class was that you would put up your equation and then you would put up how you came up with your solution. And I did that, and she was like, wrong. And I was like, no, it's not wrong. And so then I walked her through what my thought process was, and she was like, I never even thought to solve it that way. And it was like my biggest moment here of like, yes, I've got this.
That's awesome.
She ended up giving me a senior year, I believe it's called the Low Water Math Prize. At the end, when we all, if you got awards, that's one. And I literally have that book to this day, and have read it a million different times.
That's awesome.
I actually have it on my desk.
It's in my pocket.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
Miss Liberty.
Did any of you have Mrs. Pomeroy? I think she might have been gone by the time you all.
What did she teach?
She was my first grade teacher,
Oh, I wasn't here first.
and we used to call her Mrs. Pom Pom. And I just loved that woman. She was like having your grandmother in the classroom, but like a really good teacher at the same time.
Right.
Yeah, she was amazing.
I also have to shout out Miss Nichols,
Yes.
who was here like part-time, maybe half of my high school years, and then came on full-time. And it was just so important as a student of color to have like a teacher of color, because she was the only one in the upper school at the time. And I just remember her office used to be this little closet. It doesn't exist anymore, I guess. The little closet by the auditorium when you're going down the stairs also doesn't exist anymore. But we just used to cram in her little, like be literally hanging out the window. Remember that little window?
I spent a lot of time
I know you did. I know you did. We used to cram in that office just to like be around her and be in her space and have a space for us.
She would talk to us about anything and everything.
Yeah.
Anytime.
She probably
She was
knew
always
more of
available.
our business than
It was amazing.
she ever wanted to
She
know.
was so warm.
Yeah.